All right. So where we had left off before our little break, uh, Bright was just snatched up by a watery tentacle, and as it was kind of waving her around in the air like it just don't care, Bright did care very much and ended up misty stepping behind Jade. So Jade,
As
oh,
as far as I can go away from the water, 30
oh,
feet.
sure, okay. So you're now over here, and Jade, you are at the water's edge, and there's this watery, like a very large watery tentacle, just sort of, blue, 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 blue.
And it'll grab you too.
Maybe you just weren't invited to the conversation. She's had plenty of conversations with watery tentacles.
It's true, but this one looks dangerous. I don't know. If you don't want to run, that's up to you, but I'm running this way. Okay, bye.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yes. You're not even there. You just blinked out of existence as far as Jade's concerned.
Jade, would you like to interact with this thing?
Yeah, she would.
Okay.
She kind of leans in a bit, a little bit cautious as she answers from, "Hello again. Were you not wanting her to be in on this conversation too?"
Comes closer.
Yeah.
To the main room, I'm going to be alerting everyone and trying to get them to come help.
Sure.
Okay.
Ah! and this and this and this and this and this and this and this.
Out of character, I know better. In character, this has been building up.
It's right
for
up
so
Jade's
long.
alley.
Okay, so you're leaning in close, and this thing kind of, it comes around, and it like scooches a bit of your hair out of the way, and it caresses the side of your cheek, and kind of gives you like a little, like, under the chin, like tickle tickle tickle, and then it goes up almost like a shh, and you feel the pressure on your lips, and it taps.
She nods understandingly. Listens.
Push. Push. Harder. Against your mouth.
She takes a step back, since this thing clearly wants her to take a step back. Doing so very quietly.
It continues, but now it wraps around you, and it continues to go tap, tap on your mouth.
This is one of those points where I know better.
The track record on those hasn't been very good.
Alright, then we're following the track record. She parts her lips. I begin the drowning.
Begin the drowning. All right. The water begins to pour into your lungs. And as it does so, I I will narrate what is happening. I would much rather let you come up with the how you're actually reasoning this. People can communicate through sign language. People can, so visually, we communicate audibly. You are breathing the will of this thing as it forces its way into you, and it fills your lungs. Just as you would fill your lungs with air to communicate with it, it is instead like speaking to you through your lungs, not your ears, not mind to mind. In so doing, you're drowning. You're panicked. You're trying to gasp. You are, and yet at this point in time, trying to grasp or gasp for air. You're never more receptive or open for someone to say something, to help, to do something. And so it has you mind, body, and maybe even soul opened completely and vulnerable as it communicates. And for a moment, Jade, the physical discomforts of drowning fall aside. And you're in a dark room. All around you, you just hear click, 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 an inevitable click, 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 an inevitable drip, 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 an inevitable chirp, chirp. Everything, these sounds of nature, geology, everything is going in a time, in a cadence. Everything around you is syncing up. Jade.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here, oh great one. Oh, Shannon. No. Shonero.
You are in danger. Therefore, I am in danger. They have awoken, Jade.
They've awoken. They've awoken. Right. That's not part of the gears, not part of the turning.
Their motion was supposed to be suspended, Jade. Yet here they are, others of the old times, others of the past, now in the present.
Speak what I must do. Speak your bidding, and it shall be done.
The past must be the past, Jade. There can be no others. I have done what I have done for you, and all of you who have been before, and all of you who will come after, Jade. These creatures, these vampires, these fae, they are not a part of the plan, Jade. They must not be suffered, Jade. What will you do, Jade?
Annihilate, decimate, destroy, rend asunder, and aflame, and gnash them in the gears. It will be done. It will be done. Oh, great one. Oh, great Shonero.
That is good. You see, there is war. War is turning up on the gears. War is inevitable. And these rogues are a wrench in the gears, Jade. The war must come. The deaths must come. And the births thereafter must come, Jade. But these creatures, these ancient relics of the past, have no place here, Jade. Jade? Jade? Wake up, Jade! Jade! And all of a sudden, I'll let one of you be shaking her and saying, Jade, wake up.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Jade, wake up! Wake up!
Hunt them,
Wake up!
hunt them,
Wake up!
kill them,
Oh, no.
annihilate, decimate. Right.
Hi. You were drowning, and we pulled you out and saved you. We were all here just in case the tentacle was back, but we got back and there wasn't any tentacle. You were just all full of water. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah, Bright was using her sternum as a trampoline, trying to get the water out.
It's true.
These
Put your
legs
cane out.
hurt so much right now. Oh,
I'm sorry. It's because I've got this rock stuck in the heel of my shoe, and it's been there all day since we came into the mine, and I probably poked you with it. I'm really sorry.
She reaches up to Bright's face. Oh, oh, Bright. It's a glorious, glorious day. I know now. I know what must be done. It's glorious.
Oh, good. What do you have to do? Can we come?
Yes, you must come. You must. We are on the campaign so perfectly, yet, oh, you're like this lean. Death, annihilate, decimate, rend asunder. Things that are of old, things that should not be. And I found a fang and fay.
Well, Celine?
See?
Yes, I actually missed part of that because the thing cut out.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
So can I get a repeat for that?
Okay.
maybe.
Oh, the great one. The word of Shor Neroth has entered my ear, and I know what I must do. Annihilate, decimate, rend asunder, and grind down all that is fang and fey.
So you have heard the word, and it says to kill the Fae.
And the fangs, which are probably the vampires. And the Fae. I don't understand what's up with these pixies. Usually pixies are really good and friendly, but these pixies, maybe someone's controlling them. There could be like a bad Fae. Sometimes that happens. The more powerful ones sometimes enslave the weaker ones. There could be like a hag or some sort of like there are other bad Faes, and it could be one of them responsible
They
for all
are
this.
not meant to be here, Bright. They cause hurt and they cause suffering in the wrong ways. And you'll help. You'll help because it's the good thing, right? It's
Good
the
thing. But it just seems weird. I think there's more going on than just pixies. It has to be more than just pixies.
Oh yes, so much more. But that is for not the now, but the future. The future belongs in the future. And the past. And that is not what is happening here. Oh, Bright, Bright. Yes.
I mean, I have trouble with the future too. So, I maybe it's all connected. I don't know.
It's always connected. First, we must find the miners. Find
Yeah.
these Fae. Rip them wing from wing.
The ones who are fault first. But yeah, okay. Let's
We'll
keep
stop
going.
there.
Let's go find those pixies.
Find the miners too. And so my guess is that the little trench, like the place that just got flooded, is the ditch, and this place that's got the Fey writing in it is not. So whatever the bad things are that are in this mine, they're probably down at the end of the funny looking tunnel, and the stuff that's up here is probably just stuff that we can go explore, and maybe we could find people up here, but we haven't found any yet. So maybe we should just go down the Fey tunnel.
I agree.
Yes, go down the Fae tunnel. Suck it. Destroy it.
To be on our guard because we don't know which parts of the mine are going to be flooded.
True.
Well, at least we know where to drown them.
Yes.
Yep, just throw those pixies in a sack like some kittens and throw them in.
Yep.
Throw them in with.
I mean, if they're too rowdy, we could beat them against the wall once or twice first.
That's true. They might not deal bruising, they might not bruise if you hit someone with a sack of pixies.
Well, I mean, the entire thing is copycat. Celine is lawful neutral.
So you all want to
These
climb
things
down
are
in...
causing chaos, and then
You want to climb down into the ditch and go into the wall?
Yes, as Celine regains consciousness in a few moments.
Okay.
She has such a wonderful smile on her face right now. Oh, there she is.
Yeah, no, my internet just had to get out again. But no, I would very much like to find out how they die because, more for my notes.
Okay. Let's see. We had. Well, I don't know. Does Jade want to take the lead down this tunnel? If
Oh,
it
yes.
okay.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Bright,
Follow her.
Mordecai. Okay, and then Bright in the middle.
I'll go third.
Okay, it's a Bright sandwich. And then we have Celine in the back, and then we have Lycup, sort of in the middle-ish.
Yep.
All right. You climb down into this ditch that was definitely dug after the fact of this mine being made over the course of time. There's no support beams. There's nothing, but it does kind of continue a spiral. Instead of going vertically, though, it's like a horizontal spiral. And as you're walking through the tunnel that goes into the wall, and it's winding back and forth, you're seeing more of this writing. Although now that you're surrounded by it, and it's in this continuous corkscrew pattern, winding and winding ever further through the rock and the earth. You're getting a scene almost like from the first Willy Wonka movie when they're on the boat going through the Chocolate River tunnel.
There's no earthly way
Yeah,
of
going. Which way we are going?
Movie
Fires
that-
of hell are glowing.
A movie that oddly appeals to Bright and Jade both.
Yes.
Very true.
As you're doing this, I mean, Jade, you have the invocation. You're getting more of the same, but honestly, all of you are surrounded by this, and you're walking, and things are playing out now like a rotoscope around you, where these face symbols are animating, and you're seeing scenes, presumably of the past. You are seeing, you're seeing a rock, a great rock fall from the sky. You're seeing the earth rent. You're seeing ocean waves the size of city walls. You're seeing people dying and fleeing. And you're also seeing dragons flying through the air. You are seeing images of a great people that were driven off, that were driven away. And as you're continuing this rotoscope adventure of language, you're seeing you're seeing the humans flee. You're seeing the dragons die off in some great graveyard. You're seeing and then you're seeing these small creatures, presumably sprites or others, as they have wings and they seem to fly about. And you're seeing that they're returning to the earth. And you're in a way similar to how some of the humans had also turned to the earth for safety or comfort, or because they were buried there. The Fae seem to be burying themselves as well, as this scene is playing out, is spiraling in front of you. And when you reach the end of the spiraling cavern, hang on one second. There is ahead of you. I'll draw this out here. So I mean, this kind of came along. You're having this rotoscopic adventure here. It opens up into a room. Where there is another ledge. There's also an entrance down. You could climb out of the ditch. It's only the 6 feet up. However, and also, by the way, there's a staircase that leads up onto this little mini ledge. However, the ditch continues through the room and through the wall beyond, where you're actually seeing a faint glow. So it's up to you. You can leave the ditch and you can go up the ledge. You can continue through the ditch towards a glow, or you can leave the ditch and go south.
Jade, like a woman possessed, continues unless somebody tries to stop her to continue walking towards the light. The dying of the light.
Oh, it's just the regular light. But I would also like to go to the light.
Okay. All right.
I'll follow the group. At the ready.
Then, once more, you head into the earth, into this tunnel, and in the winding figures, which are now showing you that from the direction in which these humanoid glyphs fled, they seem to be returning, although they're returning where they fled on foot and on wagon. They're coming in on sailing ship. They're coming in on magical flying devices. Where they fled willy-nilly in broken ranks. These humanoid figures are returning in form and in rank and file. As well, you're seeing the buried humanoids are rising. And then you're also seeing these small winged ones that are crawling out of the earth, that are being birthed out of trees, that are being awakened and coming out of various places in the earth. And as that story concludes, you find yourselves in a large chamber, almost appearing like a stomach in shape. And we're gonna have the dotted line be where you're coming in here. And the glow is coming from all kinds of odd crystals that Lycup doesn't know what they are. This isn't a mind mineral. This isn't anything that she's aware of. And they are growing up out of the earth. And in fact, they're even they're continuing down this tunnel down here. But all throughout the chamber are crystals. And inside the crystals are various shapes, like dark silhouettes. The crystals glow a multitude of colors.
Or investigation to see if I can recognize what the shapes are in the crystals.
Sure. Okay. All right. So go ahead and roll it.
Which one?
Oh, you said investigation, or did I miss another option from?
Well, I would rather do Arcana.
Oh.
To see what the magic is. But I'll do investigation.
Sure. No, you can make Arcana.
Understand.
Okay.
Ghost of Dryness I've apparently never heard of, but whatever this is, I must have seen it somewhere.
It must be up your alley. Like you fell asleep in that, whatever that mundane, those uncommon magic items are, whatever. That's not the cool stuff. They are figures of different sizes, and you're seeing from how they're posed, they're definitely there's people inside these crystals. And in thinking about it, all right, so these definitely aren't natural according to Lycup. We've seen magic used before, and in fact, we've seen transmutation magic used before. You remember from your studies that there are various devices that can trap souls or suspend, bodily functions to hold them in stasis, or there are also spells that can just transform a body as well, from one thing to another. And you might be looking at some kind of chamber. You might be looking at some kind of not like an egg chamber, but you might be looking at some kind of a stasis area, a transmutation incubation area. But there are bodies, and a lot of them, as a freebie, a lot of them are medium-sized humanoids, which some are tieflings, some of them appear to be human. There's probably an odd dwarf in there, since there's not too many in Browbeat. But there are bodies that are encased in these various crystals and appear as a silhouette.
So these crystals, they're really big. Then they're big enough to hold. So I thought they were like a few inches long.
Well, many of them are smaller. There are larger crystals though that are filling this chamber. So think of it like you'd have some sort of an original seed crystal. That's the biggest, and that's seemingly grown up around one of the bodies, and then kind of coming off the base of that crystal are other crystals, and some might be around your height, right? And others might be only a couple inches. It might only be a couple inches tall, and there's even like some of this glowing crystal, but it's really like sand or dust on the floor. But they seem to be radiating off of these larger crystals that are containing the silhouettes of people inside them.
So, but there are no like little miniature people in the little crystals, right? The people here are only full size.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So, Lycup, have there been people going missing in the mine or just in the town? Like a lot to fill up this whole room?
No, not that I recall. Yeah, people do come and go, but the miners are fairly constant. Good line of work, good solid pay, though it destroys your body.
People haven't gone missing, though.
No more than usual, as you expect in a big town like ours.
Would you be able to recognize the missing avalanche man if he was in one of these crystals?
Oh, sure, I've seen the avalanches plenty of times. Mom goes over, brings them food, often gossips for several hours.
Take a look at these crystals and see if he's in one.
Oh, sure, I'll do what I can.
Okay, thanks. I don't know how to get the people out. I mean, usually to put someone in a container like this is really powerful magic. So, I don't know. I mean, we could always just break the crystals, but then maybe that would free the person, but also maybe it would kill them. So it's pretty risky to do that, and I don't want to do it the first thing we try. Ideas? It can always take 11 minutes.
11 minutes.
She goes up and she's looking at one of the silhouettes inside there. Can't see too well. And kind of like gets in close, like puts her forehead to her fingers and like leans in and is squinting. Oh, it's hard to tell because of the light, but that is not the avalanche. It's what? And she starts sputtering, and as you see, there are crystals that are kind of growing now in the side of her hands. What is this? What is this?
I don't know. Get it off you. Rub them off on the wall, real quick.
Do the people inside the crystals look dead?
They're not moving. They're kind of suspended there. Yeah.
The question is are they outside of time? But we have more pressing matters right now.
You have to save Lycup. How fast are the crystals growing?
You can you're seeing visible progress as they're starting to spread down the sides of her hands and are starting to like encapsulate over. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
No, I don't have a spell for this. Do you have anything? Mordecai, can anyone help her?
I've got nothing.
Take a spike from my climber's
Um,
kit and try to knock one of the crystals off her arm.
Sure, roll to hit.
I don't have an attack for that, so I'll just roll a d20.
Yep, that's fine. Okay.
I'll have, if that's a strength attack, I'll have -1 because.
Okay, so you take one of your it was one of your pythons, right? Or pitons?
Iron spike from the
Or
climber
iron
kit.
spike. Okay, and you and you do knock one of the crystals off, and she does she screams in pain.
Sorry, I'm trying to help.
Oh, it's growing. I can't feel my hands.
I would
Yikes.
suggest lop it off at the elbow.
It's pretty extreme. So are the crystals growing all over, or just on her arm?
Yeah, they're spreading now. From the edge of her hands, where she went like this to try and peer into the crystal, they're starting to grow over her palm and over the top of her hand and her fingers, and are starting to now kind of go up her arms.
You need to make a decision. Do you want to lose your arms or risk being imprisoned in one of these crystals?
She
Talk.
yeah,
That's a big question to ask.
yeah, she
Nice
looks
surprise.
and she's
From
frozen.
that time.
She's paralyzed as Bright is offering this as an option, and she's stuck. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to
Kid
do.
smiles towards Mordecai and Celine.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think we should let her get trapped. It seems bad, but then we'll just get everyone out, and that will include her.
No one has a way to cancel out magic?
Fourth level. That takes
Two
me to
levels.
level.
2 levels, Mordecai.
I need to be level 5, and I'm only level 3. And I'll totally learn that spell, but it's gonna be low.
So,
Jade could try and do it, but that's going to be a very long and painful process.
without much
She'll maintain the
hesitation,
suffering.
Exactly.
without much hesitation, Mordecai goes ahead and tries to go for her arm.
With what?
See, a short sword,
Okay.
trying to attack.
She's otherwise distracted, is effectively helpless as she's paralyzed with indecision and fear.
No.
So you're gonna get an automatic. Go ahead and roll. I guess you could always get a 1, but okay, you didn't get a 1. All right, so Mordecai, what are you doing?
Horrible.
I don't know that that's gonna actually work, but gonna try and cut it off at the joint to see if there's some way to halt it.
Okay. So you come up and it's effectively a free critical hit with your short sword here, and she's not even paying attention to you. You come up and what do you? Are you holding her her arm, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm
you
holding
pinning her?
it and then taking a swing. I guess
Oh no.
it's probably not gonna go through bone because it's a short sword.
Okay. So you come up and
8 axe.
I don't have the time to properly amputate her arms. It'll take longer than we have.
you make a strike, and she's panicking, and just for a moment, like, she looks down and oh, do I have a cat now? Yeah. Haha, I got a cat now. It's my turn. And she just looks down now at her arm where your short sword has pierced through, and just straight away she faints. I guess she's technically making death saving throws, but she's unconscious on the ground, bleeding out. in this situation. Oh, hi. You bonked on my camera, bud.
Need to be clear, Celine, just in case you didn't catch it. We have all the time in the world. It's the dwarf that doesn't have the time.
And the crystals
Very
are the ones
true.
that have all the time.
The thing is, if I'm doing things to the dwarf, her time limit is my time limit.
The extreme. Well, you're just gonna have to do your best now. The path has been, the die is cast. So do the amputation as quick as you can.
I'm gonna use my skills as a surgeon
It's
to
meatball
attempt
surgery.
to amputate both of her arms.
Using what as your tool?
Dagger.
Jade offers a sickle.
Do I have something in here that can do that? Yeah, nope, it's gonna have to be the sickle.
Didn't bring my bone saw. I left it with my great axe.
It's like, so he just looks at Brian, like, you couldn't even carry a great axe.
All right.
That's why I left it behind.
Celine, you're in a rush. You're trying to do a critical procedure quickly. You can make a medicine at disadvantage in order to try and stem this.
It's a 13.
Am I gonna get some help with the jade? Yeah.
No, you get a 13. You rolled a 13. I'm giving you 13.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna add the D4.
Okay.
So that turns it into a 16.
Okay. You look and you're seeing that the crystals are spreading, and where the original contact point is with her flesh, they're starting to grow out even, and like more. And okay, you loop the sickle and with quick and with like a twist as well. I won't get into gory details. I'm not running like a super horror campaign here. But at her elbows, you make the best sort of amputation as you can out in the field here. What are you doing though to staunch the bleeding, close the wound, etc.?
Bright color ice.
Okay. Firebolt. It has to be a firebolt.
I'm also casting Healing Word.
Yeah. Those are all very good ideas.
Okay, we'll do all these things. So I'll use the firebolt to cauterize. Cauterize.
Celine, would you like to direct Bright in how to cauterize a wound?
Yes, I will. I will direct Bright in how to cauterize a wound. Basically, all Bright is like, she's like, Bright, all you need to do is place your hands to the wound and let the magic that you would use normally for a bolt flow through it. Flow through your hands.
So that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Basically, heating her hands to cauterize the wound.
You know, this is not a surgical tool. This is a weapon.
Yeah.
But I'll do my best.
Bright, make a medicine straight up.
Oh no. Listen.
All right. So you all are hearing sizzling and skin is charring and Jade, it smells like it smells exactly like how it looks. You do staunch the blood, although there is more damage to her arms than what Celine you would have preferred as her doctor. But it has stopped, and she does have sort of cindery remnants around her forearms now. And she is, the administration of Healing Word has helped somewhat. She is effectively on death's door, though, and is quite unconscious.
I will cast a Cure Wounds on her.
I'm really sorry. Don't you remember when Taz was hurt and I was trying to staunch the bleeding with him and I couldn't do it, and this is just not something I'm good at. I'm really sorry.
Okay. So you cast Cure Wounds on her. And on her arm stumps, you see like the brand of Weejas sort of like seals over the charred stumps on her arms. So for all of you, you see this like it's kind of like a flaming skull is now like capping each of her arms. And she just sort of twitches and mumbles in her sleep.
See, if I was a if I was a higher ranked cleric, I would be able to regenerate her arms, but
No, it's hard.
no such luck.
She's gonna hate us for this, I'm sure.
It's going to be really embarrassing.
She's alive to hate us. That's the important.
It's true.
Celine,
Exactly right.
would
Yes.
you be kind enough to observe what's left of the arms and watch how long it takes to end up growing, and perhaps deduce some sort of medical expertise from it? I'll just continue here watching your handiwork.
I will do that.
What beautiful eyelids she has.
We're not taking those.
The crystals on the arm cease growing. They are no longer growing.
Okay. So the crystals only grow on living things.
It appears so.
Okay. The crystals would encase the arms, and then the arms would be like in suspended animation, so that when we figure out how to get people out of this, then we could reattach her arms maybe. I don't know. It seems kind of weird, but there's lots of magic.
Yeah, we're not to touch at all anymore.
Well, that is true. If we do have the body parts, I do Cure Wounds does have the ability to re-knit.
Attach. Right. So
Yeah, re-knit and reattach limbs.
crystals stopped growing. Maybe you could reattach them right now. They're the arm. It's right there.
And it would start growing again, perhaps.
Yeah, they might start
And
growing
wait, it
again.
might not. She's already unconscious. We could just cut her arm off again.
I don't know that I want to do
like
that
this
again.
experiment.
That's an exercise in pain that I'm not willing to trust just yet. Let's see if
We
we
have to do
can
it-
figure out how to heal this.
Do it
this-
soon
this
before the
up-
arm. I mean, like the body parts, right? Once they go moldy, you can't attach them anymore.
Well, see, once we figure out how to heal them, then we can attach them. But if there is suspended animation, then we don't need to worry about it, now, do we?
As you're having this
because
conversation from over here, you start you hear crack, 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 as big jagged cracks start going up one of these like cocoon crystals, and chunks of it start falling away. And
That's good.
Oh, that really isn't good.
standing in front of you is a naked man. That might might lend credence to what Bright said earlier, where he just teleported and forgot his personal effects. However, when you look at this, definitely human, his eyes are somewhat like a tiefling's in that there's really no pupil, but it's perhaps not a biological thing, but his eyes just have a green glow, almost like a mist coming from them, and they're wide. Think almost like a gnome's eyes. How they're usually like bigger in their skull. They're bigger, brighter, and while he is a human, and Celine, I don't know, this maybe like makes your own little ears kind of tingle or whatnot. His ears are pointed but not necessarily in an elven fashion. It is maybe somewhat bestial, though it is still flesh and not fur that's covering them. But they're kind of pointed back, and even the lobes kind of come to a little point as well. And there's a disturbingly subtle alien physique that is otherwise a part of this, what should be a human male.
That is very disturbing.
I'd
like
like
this
to cast a spell at this point.
Sure.
Detect thoughts.
Aha. And this is okay, divination, and it is a wisdom save. Yeah.
Against 13.
So there's no save against the initial. It's only when you do the deeper
Oh,
probe.
I'm sorry. Are you going deep, Jade?
I'm going deep.
Journeyman, thank you very much for that host and the 40 folks who came with you. Thank you. Okay, Jade is going deep. And this you will not be able to probe the depths of this creature's mind. But you're getting surface thoughts, and the surface thoughts are almost like going on that rotoscope adventure through the tunnel that you took to get to this chamber.
I will use Awakened Mind in order to alert the rest of my compatriots without saying a word. At least none that they understand. I am a conduit of information. I pass it along from one source to another.
Awaken, 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 awaken.
Musa Krakish.
And it's looking up and at all of you, and in a tongue that might, again, if you speak Elvish, you might pick up every fifth word. If you speak Gnomish, maybe every fourth. But it begins saying something to you all. But yeah, hey Journeyman, welcome to you and the others. Creative creature Carla. Not to be confused with Coffee Cat Comics. Thank you all for coming aboard. We're in a very spooky crystalline chamber where the Fae may be up to some shenanigans. Also, we had a bit of a messy amputation and cauterization, so hopefully you're not squeamish.
I did not lose my medical license for nothing. Thank you very much.
Got your medical license in Vegas, I see.
And as it looks to you and says these things, it stops and blinks its exotic eyes several times. And in the common tongue, you are also changed. You are like me. You are like me.
Oh,
And
even Jade isn't like you.
And so he comes up and like he's looking, except for you, in this odd accent, even though it is the common tongue. And
Is the guy pointing at me?
Yes, and he points like an elongated. Again, he should be human, but there's just something so subtly off about him. It's tingly. Except for you. You aren't one of us yet. You should become like us. I can make you like us. Yes, I can. And
what does it mean, Celine?
It's just like you all got bitten by a vampire. I didn't. And she's going to pull out her rapier and shield and be like, do not.
It would be a mercy. It would be a mercy in what's to come. You would be on the winning side.
It's just like...
Winning side of what?
Yes, winning side of what?
And it starts taking some like baby animal first steps toward you, Celine.
Do we have a token for him, maybe?
Sure. Let me. Bing. Oh wait, that's I use that as here. We'll use there we go.
I'm an ugly dwarf myself.
So we have so he hatched here and is Celine, you're kind of up front, so he starts taking some like wobbly like baby steps toward you, indicating that he can help you. He can really help you.
He cannot. He can piss off with that.
Jade,
Maybe
you're
you could
getting
turn
these
him.
surface thoughts that are still mirroring the spiral, the rotoscope hallway that you went down.
You came down here a long time ago, didn't you? Fleeing the rock in the sky.
And now the world is ours again.
Voice cut out.
You cut out that.
Now the world is
yeah.
silence.
I'm the world is ours again. We are rising.
That doesn't sound good.
And his jaws kind of like click, click. It's not falling off, but it's like he's learning to use the body. And it's just giving off a creepy vibe. You can be one of us. Are you sure? And he kind of is like reaching out a trembling hand and is like,
she's just like, I would actually like to have a look, and maybe make some kind of Arcana check or insight check or something, just to see. He says that the others who got bitten by the vampires are like him.
Are you proficient in Arcana or Insight, or you're proficient?
I am proficient in Arcana, but I am better at Insight.
Tell you what, you can give me either an intelligence-based medicine check or a wisdom-based Arcana check, as we can combine some skills into one, as you're trying to read this weird creature that has just come out.
I will make a wisdom-based Arcana check.
Sure.
I'd like to make some kind of insight check.
Sure. If you want to make a straight-up insight, that's fine. You will be at disadvantage, though, Mordecai, because of its odd mannerisms and cadence and tone.
That's a 17.
I already know everything I need to about this guy. I don't want to learn anymore.
La la la. I'm not listening. I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Yes.
Okay, so a 17 on Wizkana, as Fluffy Sheep put it. Mordecai, this creature is it's very awkward and unreadable. You're very welcome to still feel threatened and unsure, but you're not really able to read its emotion or something about it. It's aggravating because you should. This is a human, but it's not a human, and that's what's disturbing.
For sure.
Okay, so Celine, you're making a Wizkana here as you're combining you're combining your senses, and given the clues, given everything so far about what you've seen and what these Fae are capable of doing, and you think about it and you think about it, and it's like these. Wait a minute. If the vampires are some kind of an entity, right? And they enter into living people and make those living people also vampires. It might stand to reason that these Fae are doing something similar, or even because of the strange physiology. Not that any of your friends have seemingly manifested vampiric traits yet, but for however long he was in this transmutation crystal, this cocoon, this Fae egg of some kind. This person might actually be a Fae that has been put into a person's body. Not just like a soul. I mean, you're a necromancer. I'll give this as a freebie. not just like a ghost possesses someone, but as in like this a pixie or some other fey creature has been made into a human by having this human host, much as a vampire's being or essence is put into a human host in order to make it a vampire. And so that's why you're getting this strange. He is like having to learn how to use this new body when you're not used to it, and why you're getting these like animal baby steps, and why it had to sort of like point by like squishing its other fingers together.
It's just like, and what is it that you're going to try and do to me? Because the way I see it, you're planning to rob me of my autonomy and turn me into a robot, which I don't particularly feel like, I don't particularly feel like doing that. I prefer my freedom, thank you.
No, we are just wanting more. Our numbers are small, then they must grow for the world to come. We can't have more of their and he it makes kind of a sweeping motion with several fingers. You must be us. There must be a balance kept. Yes. Come. And he takes another kind of like he takes like a lurching, he probably like staggers to the side here, kind of like takes a step forward and has his arms kind of like disjointed and is making pleading motions like this.
Should kill him now.
His eyes are glowing.
I would actually like to make a proper insight check on that.
Okay. Okay, so having your breakthrough from before, it seems as if this creature does want to indoctrinate, assimilate, incorporate, or some other fashion to integrate you with them, in whatever the thems are.
Supertramp song.
It's at
But any of the other, it is not going for any of the others because they're already changed. They've already been bitten by the vamps.
We aren't going to do anything to them. Not unless the truce is broken. Come, be a part of us.
What truce? You can see that Celine's beginning to get more and more weirded out because like I deal with weird shit on the regular.
And
but this
and he kind of like comes up and is just sort of like wobbly. The misty glowy eyes are close. The truth, because the world is ours now, as it was before. And lunges towards you.
Jade.
Stop! He's getting fucking stabbed. Fuck! Screw this. Just get stabbed. Just stab him. Stabby, stabby, stab, stab.
She think.
Jade. Okay. Well, you go right ahead. I was kind of hoping to ready in action, but I didn't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
I'm gonna roll the hit with the rapier.
Okay.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh jeez.
Okay. So while he is this kind of like new, fresh to the world, like naked baby wandering around, unfortunately he just does that really aggravating thing in like Resident Evil 4 and 5 where you aim your gun and the zombie just sort of like accidentally jukes out of the way at the last moment, even though they're actually slow and clumsy, and you knew you should have hit. You knew you should have hit that shot. Why didn't you hit that shot? Capcom, what are you doing? I should have hit that.
That's okay. Bonus action. Spiritual weapon.
Oh. Okay. So a weapon is drawn spiritually.
Yes, the spectral scythe is drawn spiritually. And does a 17 hit?
As it does, as it manifests, you notice that its shape is kind of distorted and takes on, like, the blade is a little bit more curved, and if it's a sword, like the hand guard is kind of like two little wings that are flapping around, and so your magics here are being distorted in some way. But yeah, your 17 hits, and what's your damage?
That is the damage.
Okay. It looks down at where it has a fresh injury from where you smacked it with your spiritual weapon, and you can see that there is a blood-like substance, but you see that it's almost like it almost has like a glitter inside of it as well. And so it's almost like a pinkish glitter that seeps out of the wound. And it looks down, and it looks up at you, and it goes in pain and frustration. And
just so it's just gonna be like, boom it to hell.
Go ahead, and I reckon we can roll into some kind of an initiative.
Given the time, I'm not sure if that's the best idea.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. I don't need initiative for this. You're true. It is almost 3 as well. There are, well, there's 4 of you. There's 4 3/5 of you. So no, what we'll do is this. This is, you all, if you intend to bring this thing down, there's going to be plenty of you. I don't need to roll through a combat for something that doesn't have boss hit points. Spoilers, it's not a boss.
I think I can end this without combat, actually.
Oh?
Yes.
Okay.
Jade will grab hold of Celine and pull her behind Jade and step forward to the creature with a very firm statement of fact.
Okay.
This one is ours, and you cannot attack lest you break the truce. Yes.
And you certainly wouldn't want that, would you?
Lest you all get exterminated.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Mordecai's backing you up, so you can make a Jade. You can make either well, it might be an intimidation is more appropriate at advantage.
Wow.
Oh my.
What? Brian, help me out.
Yeah, I mean, if you hadn't had advantage, I probably would have given you a roll. But since you had advantage, I thought you'd make it. I'm sorry.
You want to know what?
Jade,
You know what the irony is?
Jade had this big build up, this big threat, an aura building, and then Mordecai goes, "Meow, that's right," and just it completely like spoils the whole. Okay. Then what it'll do is you don't speak with conviction. You haven't fully been a part of our world. Yet you think you are?
Well,
but no matter. Run from here if you wish. You can tell the others if you wish that a new world is beginning here, starting with Mesomasca.
If we are not fully converted and we are not of the accord, well, sucks to be him. Blast him, ladies and gentlemen. He has now officially said this is not going to kickstart a war.
That's what I would do.
Very
Whoops, did I
careful.
just accidentally a war?
Nope.
Are you all gonna just gang up and stab this thing until it stops moving?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's not
Okay.
whispers.
Yeah, I'll use firebolt.
Okay.
Stab it and burn it. And
So yeah, stab it
also-
with fire and holy radiance and force damage and
It's going to die!
Well, it seemed that a lot of voices in its head are eating at its brain cells, getting at that delicious head meat.
So Mordecai, you don't get any damage back, but you almost get like reverb back in your own noggin. Almost like you're getting some dissonant surface thoughts back from it. It'll still deal the half damage, but we don't need to go into rolls. There's plenty of you in one of this thing. So like you cast dissonant whispers. Tell you what, actually, because you did that, and I want to make your spell kind of worth it here. If you're going to invest a spell in this encounter, why don't you give me another insight? And this time, because we're talking psychic stuff, this can be at advantage. And then we'll see if you pick something up before this thing just collapses into a wet pile of newly reborn like humanoid fey flesh.
Okay, it's an insight.
Yes, insight at advantage.
22.
Hey, that's much better than a 5. Okay. So then, we will wrap up this session. I will let you know through a private message what you picked up. Is you got this reverb whisper back from this dying creature, Mordecai, and we'll call the session here as you have discovered things and stuff. To be specific,
And stuff and things.
Yeah, sure, in that order too. Why not? I'm flexible. I'm one of those touchy-feely hippie DMs who can allow that. So thank you all for another session, another week. I hope you had a lot of fun. Lethality, I suppose that you need about an hour, and we'll hear from you. Correct?
Yeah, about now.
Cool. All right, yeah, just
And then I'll let you know once we go live.
Yep, put up the notification. Now, for those of you watching out there in the audience, we will be staying live until Lethality comes up with his gathering of nerds, and we're gonna go over and give them a raid as they play a tabletop session, like actual at a tabletop, not just a virtual grid like ours here. So we'll go and say hi to them. In the meantime, if any of you as the players want to stick around and either decompress or talk, or if you got to go to bed, I understand. But we'll just go into sort of normal conversation / talk show / whatever, advice, story time, whatever mode.
I'm going to drop off video at least so I can take off my hair.
Yeah.
But,
No problem.
I
I'm
still
gonna go
think
ahead
it's
and go to
kick-ass
bed.
that he actually did that. I'm still blown away.
The who? What?
Oh, the fact that Bright actually went out of his way, or Fluffy went out of his way to actually buy a wig to end up putting on for Bright. I am blown away by that.